Salisbury Center, we are ready for our next fight. Making his way to the cage and fighting out of the red corner, it's Mohamed Bangura.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to CageZilla 74. We're about to get our sixth bout started of the evening. Coming out of the red corner is Mohamed Bangura, 5'7", 154.3 pounds was his official weigh-in at only 24 years old. He's fighting out of Evolve Academy in Gaithersburg, Maryland, by way of Sierra Leone. He's 0-1, but I thought actually he fought Sadiq. I don't know if you remember this. He fought one of my fighters, Khaldun Rookie, but it was a very, very good back and forth fight. He's a very explosive fighter. He's very physical. He's athletic, and he has really legitimate skills. He's a great wrestler. He's a lot to deal with. And, I actually really enjoyed seeing his progression here as he gets ready for his second fight.
It's funny enough you mentioned that. I was saying earlier when your guy was fighting, he actually fought Billy. So Billy and Muhammad actually came up to our gym, and they've trained with me. I sparred with both of them about twice before, So, like you said, they heavily rely on the wrestling a little bit. The striking is decent, still needs a little bit of work, but when it comes to the grappling aspect, that's where they really shine.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, man, how lucky for them to get that work in with you over there,
Definitely.
Do you guys typically train with Evolve Academy, or is it just you get fighters kind of coming and going?
It's every once in a while, Mike will send some of his guys up there to train, It's rare, but it does happen. It used to happen more before in the past, but I think both of them just came out specifically because, they wanted to get a little bit of work and they wanted to pick my brains, So I gave them as much advice as I could and just try to help the younger guys get in the right direction.
Man, what an experience that must be as we throw it to Chris Fuller for the call out of the blue corner.
And his opponent, making his way to the cage and fighting out of the blue corner, it's Mark Weisenborn.
Mark, the Warrior Weisenborn, 5'9", weighed in at 155.9 pounds. He's 32 years old, fighting out of Rocket Boxing and Martial Arts in Orange, Virginia. He's got a record of 1-0, but that was some time ago. He hasn't fought in quite a few years. However, he did recently compete in a kickboxing smoker. I don't even think he got touched. He seemed pretty good to go, and he was able to take this fight on short notice. He used to train over at MMA Institute, and then after COVID, he transitioned to a closer gym at Rocket Boxing and Martial Arts under pro fighter Chris the Rocket Rollins. He just won a pro fight himself not too long ago, so that whole gym's been very active. They've been sharp. Now, one thing I noticed, Mark is listed at 5'9". He looks like he's about 6'1".
Wow. To be honest, man, I feel like a lot of stuff when it comes to like guys that haven't competed in a while. Although you say he just did kickboxing, coming to MMA when I was younger, whenever I would see guys like okay, this guy's only been boxing, this guy's only been doing karate, he's only blah, blah. As soon as I see that, my whole game plan turns into we're just gonna wrestle it all, whole fight.
Well, there's that cardio that you get from grappling. It's just there's really nothing like it. It's just a very unique feeling. So if you're not well versed in that, then there's gonna be a very big disparity.
Yeah, and when your arms and legs are filled with blood, what grapplers are used to it, because constricting is always easy, no matter what. But when it comes to exploding and extending, and your arms and your legs are full of blood, it feels like you're moving at like half speed.
Yeah, absolutely. And so often when you're getting up with your athleticism and strength as opposed to technique, it really does tire you out that much faster.
Definitely.
With that said, again, Mark is coming from a great gym. He's coming out of Chris Rollins' camp, who's going to make sure he's prepared.
Yeah, and like you said, 5'9", doesn't
right? What?
Yeah, he looks like a giant out there.
Unbelievable. But we'll throw it to Chris for the official call-out.
Ladies and gentlemen, this bout is scheduled for three-minute rounds in the CageZilla lightweight division. It is brought to you by our friends at Cherokee Decks, specializing in custom decks and porches for over 2 decades. And Pev's Paintball and Airsoft Park in Aldie, Virginia, the Mid-Atlantic's premier paintball and airsoft park. And now, starting out, fighting out of the red corner, standing 5'7" and weighing in at 154 pounds, fighting out of Evolve Academy with a record of 0-1, it's Mohamed Bangura! And his opponent, fighting out of the blue corner, standing 5'9" and weighing in at 155 pounds, fighting out of Rocket Boxing and Martial Arts with a record of 1 win and no defeats, it's Mark Weisenborn! Once again, ladies and gentlemen, this bout is scheduled for three three-minute rounds in the CageZilla lightweight division. It is brought to you by Cherokee Decks and Pev's Paintball and Airsoft, and your referee is Michael Dolman.
The cage is closed, and Michael Dolman gets both guys ready to rock.
Man, Mark looks huge in there, man. And to be fair, too, Mohamed's a little bit on the shorter side, but that, like you said, that does not look like 5'9".
Right? Oh, good left hook there.
Great left hook by Mohamed. So he doesn't seem like he's shying away from the striking, and he's gotten close with that left hook a lot, and that was a great counter right hand by Mark.
Yeah, Mark's got some smooth kickboxing. Both these guys look great on the feet. Ooh, nice left hook snuck in there from Mark.
This is where I was gonna say I would like to see Mohamed change levels. You know, it's like when like I was saying before, when you get to the ground, that's kind of where he's a bit more comfortable.
Yeah, he's a very explosive wrestler, and I will tell you, Sadiq, the best way to get a takedown is to make somebody think you're gonna strike.
You're gonna strike, yes.
You know, and it looks like that's what he did here.
Yes. And Mark is closing up his guard. His legs are almost long enough to do a body line triangle from the top. But whenever you're engaged in this, you're kind of giving up trying to get up. It's like at this point now, it's like, okay, we're just going to both stay here. You're no longer pressing my guard, but I'm not going to be able to get up either. And in MMA, where top position means so much, that might not be the best idea.
Yeah, that top control, and like right here, you're seeing just positional control in general matters the most. But Mark is preventing some action from occurring. He's preventing any damage, and now he's got his feet to the cage maybe he could start to push off and make something happen.
And it's one of those things where he didn't necessarily put himself in that position. That was just Mohamed driving in that kind of turned him to the cage. So if sooner or later, you might start seeing Mark starting to push off and try to drive off. But he's back to this body triangle again.
And, Charles, it looks like Mohamed is bleeding.
Yep. I think off of that quick left hook we saw.
Wow. That's the thing with this sport, too, man, is these little tiny shots, and you don't realize how much damage they do.
Well, right above on that eyebrow, I think that's where the cut is. And that's enough to usually just to make you, that bleeds the most.
Yes.
But you guys are right. When I introduced him and I was walking out of the ring, I walked past Mark, and I'm 6'4", and he didn't look 5'9".
Exactly.
He definitely doesn't look 5'9" from the bottom right there either. He's got long legs.
Yes.
And
that's a clever little trick you could do, man. In the amateurs, where you can still get away with it. There's not enough information of you out there. List yourself as 5'6" and show up as 6'4".
But we got to see a little bit more off the bottom from Mark. If he wants to get to his feet, if that's where he feels he's comfortable, you're working down. There's 30 seconds left, and you're going to be down a round unless you can make something significant happen here.
And, Charles, you took the words right out of his corner's mouth. They're over here saying the same thing. He's not doing enough from the bottom. He needs to be more active.
Definitely. Sometimes, unless if you have an active guard, holding a closed guard in MMA is not the greatest idea because now you're just giving up time.
You're absolutely right. Our main event of the evening, Diallo has a fantastic aggressive guard off the bottom.
Yeah.
But again, that's a bit of a rarity in MMA here as the bell closes and both fighters go off to their corners. It's not that common, especially at this level. You're going to get guys who kind of they shrimp a little bit, they move a little bit, but they don't chain it together the same way.
Yeah, it's because it's one of those things where like you have to make an active decision when you're at the gym that you're just going to be a constant shooter for submissions. And even in jiu-jitsu, that doesn't necessarily pay all the time because there are guys that are just so dominant positionally, like your submissions mean nothing. You shoot 100 submissions in a fight and they score 2 points and you still lose, So you don't get a lot of people that kind of specialize in that.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you're in Mark's corner, what are you telling him right now?
If we ever get to the fight, you have to put your foot on the hips and push off. On the feet, they looked about equal until towards the end. Mark started finding his range. He was able to land some pretty hard shots. But on the ground, whenever that transition happens, you have to push off and get up. No more holding close guard.
Well, let's see if he heeds Sadiq's advice as we get ready to go here for the second round underway.
Let's maximize that range, Mark. Like you're a pretty tall guy. We don't need to be swinging in the pocket against a guy that's 5'7". There we go. And now we're working jabs. That's what he needs. Straight shots, long shots down the line. Force Mohamed to have to get in there with you, because on his way in there, he's going to take a lot of risks.
Yeah, but Sadiq, it looked like...
He threw a big right hook, swung himself off the fence.
Yeah, one of the things I like that Mark did was he got himself up off that single, but then he kind of just tried to counter a little too fast. You almost want to stay calm here. Let's settle in, lower your body a little bit, start working your jab, because now you're on your back here and you got 40 seconds into round 2. You're already thinking, all right, I got to get up quick. I can't let more time get eaten here.
He was looking for a triangle earlier. To be honest, I like him working off his side. Work from half guard, work from your side. Anything other than close guard. As long as you're constantly making a threat, you might find a tiny little bit of space that you need to work yourself up.
There we see some nice elbows from the bottom by Mark.
Although it actually looked like it might have been slightly illegal off the position there. You got to be real careful the back of the head.
I just like the activity.
No, but to your point, Chris, I'm with you, right? Get active, make some moves.
Yeah. And now we're back in close guard again. And it's one of those things where even with him working off his back and landing elbows, it's just not a good visual, especially if the judges aren't that familiar with what's going on. If they're not like, okay, that was a big elbow, that was a big strike. The guy on top is 9 times out of 10 going to get the round.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a good call there. And, now we're halfway through the round. Mark's stuck here.
And Sadiq, if you're matched up with a guy that's obviously longer than you on the feet, are you always looking to take them down right away and try to nullify that reach advantage?
Not just necessarily the takedown, anything that'll keep me and you as close as we are right now, So if that's us against the fence, if that's us fighting in the pocket in the middle, as long as we're face to face, it no longer matters how tall or long you are, And especially in a situation like this, when we're on the takedown and you're not necessarily showing me that you want to get up and you actually want to work on the ground, we're going to do this the whole fight.
And Charles, we've talked about this so many times. It's hard, in the judges' eyes, it's hard to win a fight off your back. Even if you are being extremely active, it still looks like a dominant position by Bangura. Am I right?
You're absolutely right. You are absolutely correct. And, the activity can create more opportunities. And right now, even if you're not able to score off those, off the activity, it can give you opportunities to get up. And right now, we're not really seeing the attempts which are preventing Mark from having those opportunities.
Yeah, it's that body triangle. It's killing you. It's one of those things. It's only good for sport jiu-jitsu. And what I mean by that is, okay, let's say you're in a sport jiu-jitsu and you're up, and now you can lock them down and nothing's going to happen. But in MMA, they could still land these not necessarily powerful strikes, but it's busy enough for them to win the round.
You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. Well, right now, it looks like Mohamed's up 2-0. Mark's going to have to make something happen here.
I'm really interested to see what Bangura is going to do to start this third round, because we've seen him come out in rounds 1 and 2 and try to stand up for a minute.
Yes.
But he looked like he was trying to get in and get out real quick rather than stand in the pocket like you mentioned, Sadiq. I'm wondering what he's going to do now.
Yeah, like you said, it wasn't necessarily him going for takedowns in either round. It was like, okay, we're going to strike first, and then the takedown kind of presented itself, then he took it. If I'm him in this third round, I'm attacking that takedown.
And I think that probably happens when like we've mentioned 100 times now, the taller fighter trying to keep the shorter guy at distance by throwing jabs and longer kicks, that presents a better takedown opportunity, right?
Definitely.
Very good analysis there, Mr. Fuller.
I'm learning from the best, guys.
Yeah, more than just a ring guy, huh? More than just an announcer.
I've watched a fight or two.
But I tell you, man, so far this has been a good fight. I like what I'm seeing. Mohamed's offensive wrestling and control is great. Mark's footwork is solid. His defense on that initial shot is good. It's just the follow-up chain wrestling. That's what you have to prepare for.
In this fight, if I'm in Mark's corner, we're not doing anything on the ground other than trying to get up. In the transition of trying to get up, then you can look for your attacks. As soon as they fail, we're right back to pushing off the hips, trying to work our way up.
Third final round. Here we go. Mark wants to throw that knee. He wants to make something happen.
He tried to switch stances and bring the knee right up the middle. Because I think he thought the same thing we was, that now, and he came very close with that knee. Because anybody knows now Bangura has his path to victory is going to be the takedown. So maybe I could try to catch him with his knee on his way there.
You know what? Bangura doesn't look like he wants to go to decision right now. He's staying busy. Although he could coast to a win right now, he still wants to put on the show. Something cool for the people at home to see. Yeah, he comes into this fight 0-1. I'm sure he wants to avenge that one loss that he has, and it looks like he's well on his way to doing it.
Yeah, really improved control here. He's playing a smart game. Again, you found, like Sadiq was saying, when you have an advantage, you're gonna drive into that as best you can. But I'm gonna tell you, man, Mark's got to take some chances. He's got to explode up. He's got to shrimp. He's got to push away. Take the risk, even if at times you might end up getting your back taken or getting past. third round, you gotta do something.
You gotta shoot your shot. You know, it's one of those things where I know it's a cliche about going out on your shield, but I wouldn't necessarily even say it's going out on your shield. It's just trying to find any path towards victory. And that was a good attempt of a sweep right there, you know. But as soon as he misses, he goes back to hold and close guard.
Right.
With 3 minutes, man, most people are good enough to just maintain a good base.
Yeah, he's just really heavy from the top. Even though at times his position looks a little bit high, he's still able to maintain that pressure that's just not letting Mark do anything as far as getting up goes.
And now he's trying to look to pass. And to be honest, if I'm Bangura right now, I would not care about passing at all. If he wants to hold me in close guard, I'll let him hold me in close guard as well.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you, if he settles into half guard, now he's in a
straight into mount. That was a great transition into mount.
And you know, Sadiq, what I want to say, I mean, I agree with you, right? You're cruising to victory. You're here in second round. You're in close guard. You're doing what you need to do. But when somebody's just holding you there, it gives you opportunity to pass.
Yeah.
It gives you opportunity to advance the position. And now we're seeing Mark's really struggling here, and you know, he's trying to bridge, but it's just a tough thing to do against the cage.
And
with all that
Bangura
weight.
is strong. You know, I've gotten to grapple with him. I've gotten to spar with him. And although he's a little shorter for the weight class, it's nice and compact. A very, very strong, heavy pressure from top.
And now he's applying a little bit more pressure here.
Yeah.
Mark's moving, but
with 30 seconds left, there's just no path to victory that I can see from on the ground here. You have to find some type of escape and go a bit insane when y'all get to the feet.
And getting away from the cage is not going to be helpful.
Yeah, now you're relying on technique for technique in the middle of the cage.
And there's a 10-second.
That was very, very great performance by Bangura. You know, you found a path to victory early and you stuck to it.
yeah, great control there from Mohamed Bangura.
Great show of sportsmanship right there, guys.
Yeah, and it seems like the cut kind of took care of itself. You know.
Yeah, you're right. You know what? I kind of forgot about it, Sadiq.
Yeah, I don't know what necessarily caused it in the first place, but I think the corner was able to get it taken care of in between rounds.
Yeah, I think a little bit of Vaseline went a long way, and there wasn't too much striking to open it back up. You know, Mohamed did such a good job of preventing that from happening. But I'll tell you, man, you know, Mark's been getting back in this. He's looked for new opponents. He actually has been signed on for, I think, 4 or 5 fights, and he's had opponents fall through. One of my guys was supposed to fight him and had a health issue that couldn't make it. So, you know, he's had some tough luck, and he took his chances, jumped in on short notice against a very, very talented fighter in Mohamed Bangura. And, you know, for the most part, didn't take damage.
Yes.
Could theoretically get back out there soon. But we're going to throw it to Chris Fuller for the official call-out.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 3 rounds of action, we go to the judges' scorecards for a decision. All 3 judges have scored the bout 30-27 in favor of your winner by unanimous decision. Out of the red corner, it's Mohamed Bangura.
Mohamed Bangura, your winner of bout number 6 here at CageZilla 74. We're going to take a short break, and then we'll be back for bout 7 right after this.
Like and subscribe to CageZilla.